Welcome back to Let Me Pull Your Coat. This week, you're riding with China Doll. And let me be clear before we even start. This is not going to be soft, because some of you keep writing in like life just happened to you. No, you saw it coming. You felt it early, and you stayed anyway. I know, because I did the same thing. And if you've been watching our YouTube series, Tales from the Let Me Pull Your Coat podcast, then you already know how these stories end. Not pretty, not clean, not safe. Consequences. So today, we're going to talk about the choices that lead to those endings. Before we get into it, go to letmepullyourcoat.com. Leave your voice messages. That's where a lot of these stories come from. Check the Your Post page. Read the reviews page. Leave a review. It lets us know how we're doing. Watch the video page. Join our newsletter for exclusive content that we are prohibited from saying online. And go to YouTube and watch Tales from the Let Me Pull Your Coat podcast. Those are not fairy tales. Those are real situations from our real listeners from all over the globe, with real endings. Follow us everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Fanbase, Blue Sky, and grab the merch. Hoodies, caps, jackets. Now let's get to it. First, we got Keisha from St. Louis, Missouri. She says her man had another woman from the beginning. She knew it. People told her. She stayed. Now he got both women fighting and she feels stupid. Keisha, you're not stupid, but you played yourself. And I say that with love and truth. See, I dealt with a man just like that. Smooth talker. He was always busy. Kept his phone face down. And every time something didn't feel right, I explained it away. I told myself I was overthinking. I told myself I didn't want to lose him. But here's what really happened. Didn't want to face reality. When a man shows you he's dividing his attention, his loyalty, and his respect, that is not confusion. That is his lifestyle. And now you're in the middle of chaos that you saw forming from the beginning. If you've watched the Tales episodes, you already know how this ends. Public embarrassment. Fights. Sometimes worse. You don't wait for the explosion. You leave when you smell the smoke. Next, we got Chantel from Toronto, Canada. She says she's been running through men for money, gifts, trips, but now she feels nothing. No connection. No emotion. Chantel, that numb feeling? That's not power. That's damage. I lived in that space, where everything was a transaction. Time had a price. Attention had a price. And after a while, you stop feeling anything real. Because real love doesn't operate like that. Silk used to tell me straight, you can hustle for survival, but don't let survival turn into your personality. Because when it does, you lose the ability to recognize something genuine. You might be stacking money right now. Cool. But if your spirit is empty, that bill always comes due. And the women who stay in that lane too long, they end up in those Tales episodes talking about how everything went left. Now we got Denise from Memphis, Tennessee. She says every time she gets ahead, her family pulls her right back. Bills, problems, drama. And she feels guilty saying no. Denise, let me say this clearly. Some families don't support you. They survive off you. I had to learn that the hard way. The moment I started leveling up, everybody had a handout. Not one hand up, a handout. And when I finally said no, I was the problem. But listen, if your success creates resentment instead of pride, you are surrounded by people who benefit from you staying stuck. That guilt you feel, that's conditioning. You are allowed to grow without carrying everybody on your back. Because if you don't, you'll look up one day and realize you built nothing for yourself. Next is Sasha from Miami. She says she's trying to leave the streets, but the money keeps pulling her back. Sasha, I'm going to talk to you like nobody talked to me. That fast money? It's not freedom. It's a leash. Because every time you try to step away, something pulls you back. Bills, habits, people, comfort. When I left, it felt like I was losing everything. The lifestyle, the income, the control I thought I had. But what I was really losing was a cycle that would have destroyed me. Long term. Silk didn't drag me out of it. He showed me the door. I had to walk through it. And let me tell you something real. Every woman that stayed too long, their story sounds like those tales on YouTube. And those endings don't get rewritten. Now we got Elena from Madrid, Spain. She says every man she deals with ends up controlling, jealous, or toxic. Elena, you're not picking different men. You're picking the same energy in different bodies. I had that pattern too. Different names, same outcome. Because I was attracted to intensity, drama, control. It felt familiar. Peace felt boring to me back then. And that's how you know you haven't healed yet. When chaos feels normal. Once I started working on myself, my choices changed. My tolerance changed. And the biggest shift? I stopped entertaining what I already knew was wrong. Here's this week's shout-outs. Shout out to Monique in New Orleans, Louisiana. Shout out to Farah in Dubai, UAE. Shout out to Tiana in Oakland, California. Shout out to Zanel in Johannesburg, South Africa. Shout out to Yuki in Tokyo, Japan. And shout out to every woman listening who knows she needs to make a change, but hasn't done it yet. Here's your coat pull of the week. Stop acting surprised by outcomes you helped create. You saw the red flags. You felt the disrespect. You heard the lies. And you stayed. At some point, it stops being their behavior and starts being your decision. Accountability is not punishment, it's power. The moment you own your choices is the moment you can finally change them. This is China Doll. Make sure you follow, subscribe, and leave a review. Go to letmepullyourcoat.com and tap into everything. Voicemail, your post page, reviews page, video page. And don't forget, go to YouTube and watch Tales from the Let Me Pull Your Coat podcast. Because those stories, that's what happens when people ignore everything we talk about here. Grab the merch, represent the movement, and remember this, you were never confused. You just didn't want to move. Much love, much respect.